Well, Jamel, how good did it feel to get galloping away on that long run?
It felt good. We've been working on that for a while. Just getting the feeling back of reading my blocks, following my teammates' lead, and just felt good to break out one time.
What changed in your opinion? Obviously, the fullback dive had not been doing very much, not been gaining much yardage, and then all of a sudden, like that, you break away, and it was a huge hole. Anything in particular change in your opinion?
No, I just think we were persistent at it. I mean, we know sooner or later it's going to happen. We just got to keep working at it, and eventually it was going to work. And I mean, we did our jobs on that play, and it showed.
It reminded me that game reminded me a couple instances of what happened when Keenan Reynolds set the NCAA record for rushing touchdowns. Everybody kept falling down at the 1 yard line. Nelson Smith stole a couple touchdowns, but is it tough when you get break loose like that and then you don't quite get into the house?
Well, yeah. In my instance, you always want to score that. I mean, you break a long run like that, you never want to get caught. So I was pretty upset with myself about that. But I mean, we got the touchdown. I was happy. Nelson was happy. The whole team's happy. I mean, we're making a run. I don't care who scores. It's just me as a competitor. I want to finish that run.
We were just talking to Coach MacDonald, and he spoke about that very tough run at the end that you made to pick up the first down that really, put you in field goal position and also kept the clock moving. You pushed a few people. I mean, I know you as a speed back who gets out, but that was the first time I'd seen you really carry a couple guys, a few defenders for a few yards. Can you talk about that?
Well, I mean, we're coming out of timeout, and coach calling a play. He's putting the ball in my hands. I know he needs me to get this. So just having that mentality of I got to make a play. Whatever happens, happens. I mean, I know my teammates are going to do their jobs for me, so I want to make sure I do my job for them.
When we spoke to you during preseason, you had talked about getting stronger or more powerful. I think, with what happened on that play, an instance of the new Jamale Carothers.
I think so. I mean, I want to be a better player every day. I mean, I come out to practice trying to improve, look at film, work on anything I can get better at, and I think we're heading in the right direction.
So, I mean, obviously that was a breakout performance in the second half, especially for the fullbacks, but I'm guessing that you don't feel like you all have arrived, that there's still a lot of work to do. I mean, nobody plays the option better than Air Force, and so those yards are going to be tough to come by. So you feel like you got to really still tighten things up leading into the Air Force game, Jamel?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that was a big win for our confidence, but nobody's satisfied over here. I mean, we know we got to build off this game and work every day because nobody's going to give us a win. I mean, we fought for that win like crazy, but I mean, now that game's over. We got to work hard every day to prepare for Air Force because, I mean, it's going to be a battle.
So you got a little bit of taste of Air Force last season. I don't know. I mean, that was at that point in the season. Had you already started? Did you make the road trip to? I mean, or did you play an Air Force home game?
I played like 2 or 3 plays.
Right. So do you feel like you got a taste, or do you think this is going to be your first real, true taste of Air Force game?
This is gonna be my first real dose of Air Force, but I mean I've been in an Army Navy game. I feel like I know how that feeling's gonna be. I don't think I'll be that nervous, but I mean I know it's gonna be a big game, so I gotta be prepared and focused the whole time.
127 yards, I believe, for you. What type of confidence does this give you just moving forward in the season heading into this Air Force game?
Really, I mean it just does what we wanted to do. We've been looking for this before this game, and this game it worked. So really, we're just gonna keep working at it and see what happens.
I was talking with Dalen and Coach Jasper about this. With the offense clicking on all cylinders, just how fun and dangerous can this offense be in 2020?
This offense can be very, very dangerous. When we're all working, Dalen's making those passes, offensive lines making the blocks, I'm making the right reads, running the ball, Nelson's running the ball. I feel like we can do whatever we want to do. I mean, when we're locked in and focused and making all the right plays, we can play with anybody.
Talk about really and truly Dalen and how he responded to what happened to him earlier this season. I'm kind of curious as to his mentality and what he brought to the huddle as far as this past game was concerned. I feel as if he may have kind of sparked you guys up.
I feel like he responded like a total professional. He came in the huddle. He said, I know this game's gonna be exciting. I know that we have to make plays, but we got to focus in, lock in, and do our jobs. I mean, he took command of the huddle. He made all the right calls, the right reads, and he got us to where we needed to be.
I'm good. Thank you very much, Jamale.
Thank you.
Wags, any follow-ups?
Yes. Navy made some changes along the offensive line. They went with the big Pierce Banbury at center and moved Justin Self out to left tackle. And I think Bryce Texera played the right guard. Left tackle, left guard. Obviously, things got going. Can you talk about that revamped offensive line and the job you thought they did there, especially in the second half?
I feel like guys got going. They were doing their jobs. I feel like we got the plays we wanted to run, and we stuck with them. I feel like after the second half, we stuck to our base offense and things that we normally do, and guys could really focus in on their jobs.
Jamale Carothers and Nelson Smith both got going there in that second half. There had not been much from the fullback position through three halves of football. What changed?
You just got to stay with it, right? I mean, heck, there wasn't much in the first three halves of football from many people, myself included. So I think, you just stick with your plan and you keep hammering away at it. And I'm gonna tell you, man, the more and more you look at it, I think our guys just outlasted the other group. We were just a little bit more tougher, just a little bit more mentally tough, and I think our conditioning was a little bit better at the end, and our guys just hung with it and just kept hitting it. And obviously the offensive line played great in the second half. Dalen played great in the second half, and it all just kind of came together for us.
I'd kind of been talking about, obviously sometimes you just can't get the fullback dive going. It may be the way they're playing it. It may be that BYU and Tulane have a monster nose guard who's clogging the middle. But Jamale is just too much of an important weapon to, give up if you can't get the dive going. Are you all exploring other ways to get him the ball? I mean, that quick pitch to fullback has worked in the past. Screen pass either over the middle on the outside is an option. Can you just talk about, I just think it's important to get Jamale the ball however possible.
Yeah, but I think, the beauty of our offense, and again, I know I've said this before, but the beauty of our staff is if we've been together for so long, and I know that I'm only here, 2 years technically on this staff, but obviously, at the prep school, you're an extension of it. But Coach Niumatalolo, Coach Jasper, Coach Ingram, Coach O'Rourke, Yokitis, those guys have been together forever. So just to reiterate, we're going to do what we feel gives this team the best opportunity to be successful. And you're right, there are times where defenses are probably going to do their best to take away Jamale. They'd be foolish not to. So if that happens and you look to see what else is it, what else is there? If a defense is going to do this, what's the answer to that? Where can we be successful? Who not so much who can we get to carry the ball, but what is the defense giving us to give our team the best opportunity to be successful, if that makes sense. Certainly he carried the ball 25 times on Saturday. And, I thought personally, as I watched his film and as I graded his film, I thought it was one of his more complete games. I told him that. It's funny. He's a guy who's kind of been known as an explosive play guy. Didn't have any touchdowns on Saturday, but certainly without him, we don't win the football game. And that run that he had on 3rd and 8 to end the game, on the last, or not to end the game, but to set up the game-winning field goal, I think that's to extend the drive there. That speaks volumes to who that kid is. You know, it wasn't, he had to run through some people and take on a few tackles in that one as well.
I noticed that on the occasions that you got on the goal line, you brought Nelson in. Do you feel that Nelson is just a little bit more better of a goal line back as far as maybe banging in there, getting those tough yards?
No, that wasn't the case at all. You get in the flow of the game. You have instincts. You know, you see how things going. And again, I'll say it again. I mean, the kid carried the ball 25 times in Jamale, and that's, you know, I think you go back to that Army game, and then he carried the ball 22 times. And I think these are probably the two games, and Scott would correct me if I'm wrong, that he's carried the ball the most, you know. And so you look at situations, you look how things are going. And I think that one of Nelson's touchdowns, you know, was after a long run from Jamale. He had been in there for a little bit, you know, and we had come in, and I think we had run 2 quarterback sneaks after that, you know. And so it's just a feeling more than anything. Just in the moment in the game, you know, it's not like there's a game plan where if we get in the 3-yard line, you know, Nelson's going in or anything like that. You know, it's just at that particular time, in that moment of that day, you know, I thought that gave us the best opportunity at that time.
All right, I'll pass it off.
John Schofield.
Hey, Coach, John Schofield from 6 Second Sports. What's your evaluation of the evolution of the team? Maybe not just on the fullbacks level, but your evaluation of everyone's mindset, of everyone's spirit, going from BYU, then going into full contact practice, and then going into what really is a miraculous win at Tulane. You know, how do you describe that evolution, and what do you attribute the growth to?
Yeah, I want to be real careful here because my scope is kind of focused in on the fullback. So to give you a description of the evolution of the whole team, man, that kind of question goes way above my pay grade. But this is what I'll tell you. This is what I think, at least at our position, and from what I see on the field, you know, it's just you have a group of guys that are just, they're not going to give up, and they're not going to go away. And probably the thing, and it's funny, John, you know, last year I was in the booth the whole time, and so you see a game a certain way in the booth. You know, I enjoy aspects of being in the booth, and in these first 2 games I've been on the sideline, and I enjoy aspects of being on the sideline as well. But one thing I will tell you in that BYU game that I saw from at least my circumstances that I was in, and with my own eyes, with my own ears, I didn't see people pointing fingers, and I didn't hear people making excuses. And I think that that's a big plus. And it's hard to take away any positive things from a game like BYU, but you have to, as a coach, you have to try to look for the positive. As a player, you have to try to look for the positive. And if there was one definite positive from that game, it was the fact I didn't see anybody just give up. I certainly didn't see anybody quit. I didn't see anybody point fingers or make excuses. And so when you have that, after a game like that, you know that there's a good bond there. You know there's a good relationship there with your players. And, you know, you just have to put them in the situations to be successful. And you know what? I don't know. They responded. Obviously, they didn't like the way the first 6 quarters of the season were going. I think Coach Niumatalolo said the first half of the Tulane game was essentially a third half of BYU. You know, I'm sure my math doesn't make much sense there, but you know, the point is that there was a lot of overlap between the first 2 quarters on Saturday and the first game against BYU, and then all of a sudden we started playing Navy football in the second half. So I think it always comes back to the players. You know, I think these guys they're relentless. You know, a lot of these guys go through naps, and naps is a tough deal, and certainly to come into this school direct. And to you know, be launched out of high school where you're the man coming in direct, and to go through plebe summer, the Naval Academy, is an arduous task just every single day. So our guys naturally go through more on a daily basis than the majority of people that we're going to play every Saturday or Friday or Thursday, whenever it is. So all that together, you just know this team's not going to stop fighting.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Bill Bergman.
Coach, just a quick question. Across the country, the fullback's a dying breed. Obviously, the triple option's a little different. But what is it about coaching this position that you love so much? And what's your sales pitch about why the fullback is such a versatile position still?
Well, you know, what my love for coaching this position is the same for the love for why I ever got into this profession in the first place, man. I love to be around the guys. You know, I love to coach these kids. They're special kids. You know, I can't say that enough. You know, for my particular position, the B-back position, it's an offensive position that carries the football, but you got to be a tough-nosed guy, and you got to be a hard-nosed guy. It's a physical position. You know, I don't know how many running back positions across the country are going to ask the guys to do as much in the blocking schemes, and you know, and plays where running backs don't get the ball in other offenses. I don't know if they enjoy the contact that our guys do, and so, you know, I was a physical. I'd like to think I was a physical guy when I played. You know, I certainly didn't have the athleticism and speed that these kids had, but you know, and so physical football is always fun to coach, man. And you know, it's ever since I first stepped foot on this campus, ever since I first got around this program, something that was very apparent to me was that football practice is the best part of these guys' days, day in and day out. And as a coach, to be around that, man, it's a blessing and it's special.